We are nearing the end of preseason. We've pumped out so much content for the whole entire fantasy puck community, but I still have 6 players that I have on my list that I still haven't talked about that I think can significantly outperform their ADP this season and ultimately give them the sleeper player status. I already gave you 6 sleepers this year, so I'm going to double down and give you another 6 sleepers. This is going to be a good one, guys, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Tommy Novak is the first player to make the version 2 sleepers list, and you're probably thinking, who is Tommy Novak? And last season, he broke out in 2022-23. He scored 17 goals, 43 points in 51 games while adding 12 power play points and 93 shots, playing top 6 minutes and power play 1 down the stretch for the Nashville Predators that were making a playoff run, and he was a big part of that. It seemed like every night he was either getting a power play assist, he was getting a 5-on-5 goal. And speaking of 5-on-5, his 5-on-5 rates last season were amongst the best in the entire NHL. He had the 14th best 5-on-5 point rate in the NHL. Very exceptional numbers from Novak down the stretch, and 21 points in his last 24 games, including 31 shots and 17 minutes time on ice per game. There is really no competition on this Nashville Predators roster. With Ryan O'Reilly now there, he will take over that 1C role, but we've known in the past O'Reilly plays more of a defensive center role. So he should be matching up against opposing teams' top lines, while Novak, as the number 2 center, should be matching up against opposing teams' second or third lines, maybe more of the depth opportunities, and that will be really good for him. He's going to get power play 1 opportunity. He's going to play 17 plus minutes per night in a very solid role on a Nashville Predators team that is kind of a wild card this season. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm hoping we see a little bit more offense than we did last year. He has the upside to easily be a 50-60 point player with 20 power play points, and as a guy that's currently not ranked in those 14 to 16 team leagues, you want to be taking this guy later in your drafts for huge point upside and the upside to really finish as a potential top 100 to 150 player this season. Filip Chytil seems to be the only one in that core prospect group on the New York Rangers to actually have a very strong, not necessarily a breakout season, but a really strong campaign in 2022 where he scored 22 goals, 45 points, and added 177 shots. And he did all this while having little to no power play time and playing just 14 minutes per night. Because he played low minutes and his stats were so high, he actually ranked the 30th best shot rate in 5-on-5 in the entire NHL last season and the 65th best point rate. Do I think he's going to get power play 1? Probably not, and that's going to be a big indicator to him actually becoming a 30 goal scorer, a 65 plus point player. But I still think, given the opportunity he had last season and how strong he finished the season last year, that he has the potential to break out this season. Will he play more than 14 minutes this season? You have to think so. This Rangers offense is not as versatile as they were last season. I think they're going to need some more offensive help, and a lot of it's contingent on the young guys in Chytil, Lafreniere, and Kakko to really find their game and to really break out. We kind of slightly increased his minutes to about 16 per night, and when we did that, we project him here for 22 goals, 30 assists, 187 shots, 36 hits, 41 blocks. And if you're taking a guy super late in drafts with your last pick in 14-team leagues, 16-team leagues, I think Chytil can significantly outperform his ADP. He's currently not rated. I still haven't seen him being drafted yet, but I know a lot of people have their eyes on him early in preseason. He is dealing with some little minor injury right now. I don't think it's cause for concern. They haven't really noted any concern on it. So if Chytil can come back, start the season healthy, he could be in line for a very strong 50-plus point campaign with over 200 shots. Bowen Byram is definitely a favorite here at Fantasy Puck. Chris really likes him, and he kind of convinced me to get on the train and really like Bowen Byram this season. What we're seeing in the early parts of preseason, Makar actually did play last night in the preseason game, but he has been dealing with the same injury that was bothering him last season and kept him out for 22 games. Now, I don't want to draft a player that's contingent on the other defenseman getting injured and then Byram stepping into Makar's spot and becoming that line 1 power play 1 defenseman. I definitely don't want to be doing that, but that's a case you have to make for why you should be drafting Byram, because of the opportunity of him to easily step into that 1A role. As the 2019 4th overall pick, Byram is definitely one of the best defenseman prospects in the entire league. He is now a certified NHL player, but at the time, he was regarded as easily one of the best defenseman prospects. His 82 game pace last season, 19 goals, 27 assists, 127 shots, 105 blocks, and 160 hits, all while playing over 22 minutes per night, which is what you want to be seeing from a young defenseman on a really high-flying offensive team. He's falling extremely late in drafts, and I find that a lot of people are starting to panic on defensemen after round 10 because of how early D are going right now in drafts, and Byram is an easy way to fill out your roster as a defenseman 3 or 4 with huge upside. We haven't projected the season to miss time. So this is with missed time because he hasn't been healthy over the last 3 seasons. So we haven't projected for 62 games played, 16 goals, 33 assists, 11 power play points, 113 shots, 141 blocks. Very good underlying numbers. But again, this is assuming he misses 20 games this season. So if he can stay healthy, he can be in line to easily be a league winner this year. Again, at ADP 166, he is falling huge in drafts right now, and to the point where he's almost going undrafted in some leagues. This Colorado Avalanche team, you know how good their offense is. They're an extremely deep team, and they should easily finish as a top 5 offensive team this season. Again, if Makar gets injured, Byram easily becomes a top 10 to 15 defenseman, even with Devin Tays there. Just the opportunity to potentially be power play 1 and also play 24 plus minutes on this Colorado Avalanche team. He's a guy I want on my roster, a guy that Chris has convinced me that should break out this season and finally have that 4th overall pick upside season that we've been waiting for from Byram. I am once again very interested in Artturi Lehkonen this season, and the reason why is because he has fallen almost more than he did last season, but he's coming off a really good 2022 campaign. He's definitely back on my radar, and reports indicate that he should still be power play 1 on Colorado this season, and he's going to be playing top 6 minutes like we saw last year. He had a mini breakout in 2022, and if you drafted him, you were definitely rewarded with a very strong season from Lehkonen when healthy. He did miss some time, about 18 games last year, but in those 64 games that he did play, 51 points, 20 power play points, 150 shots, and 93 hits. He covered all categories for you, very similar to another player that you're going to see in this video that I'm extremely high on. And at times, Lehkonen was a top 100 player in some of those bangers leagues, but health was a concern from him, as was the entire Colorado Avalanche team. But he did play well over 20 minutes last season, which is outstanding from a forward on a team with this dynamic of an offense, and I can't really see the outlook changing at all. In last night's preseason game, he played over 20 minutes. It doesn't really matter because it's preseason, but again, I don't think too much will change because of how much Jared Bednar likes to play those top 6 forwards and how much they like to mix around the lines. Now, here's going to be a hot take. People aren't going to like this. Everybody is super high on Drouin and the Drouin comeback season. I'm for it, and I can definitely see it happening. But if he has a 5 to 10 game stretch where he struggles, he is not going to be on that top line and get moved down to the 3rd line. And Artturi Lehkonen is going to be the guy that's going to fill in and play with Rantanen and McKinnon like we saw last season. And I remember McKinnon quoted saying, "I want to play with Artturi Lehkonen." So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen in this early development of the Colorado Avalanche and what we see out of Jonathan Drouin. He's had a good preseason. A lot of eyes are on him. But if he does falter in the early going, he's going to have a very short leash and move down the lineup. So this is something you want to be monitoring early on. It's going to be a hot take. But Lehkonen's outlook for us this season, 27 goals, 31 assists, 21 power play points, 177 shots, 120 hits. He covers every single category, and that assuming that he does miss some time this season. We have him projected for missing 13 games. That's just going off of injury history. But if he does play all 82, he could be in for a massive season. We love this Colorado team, as you heard with Byram. I'm on Lehkonen this season. I think he can well perform 170 ADP this year. Speaking of guys who cover every single category and are going completely overlooked in drafts, Vincent Trocheck of the New York Rangers is someone that we were super high on last season and someone I'm going to be super high on again this season. I really don't know why he's falling in drafts in the Fantasy Puck Patreon League, which is using standard Yahoo default points. I got him in the 15th round. And the strategy is now becoming that you just draft wingers and defensemen super early and then just focus on these depth centermen like Joel Eriksson, Trocheck, Sam Bennett, Filip Chytil, like centers that just really cover all categories. And that's what Trocheck does. Last season, 82 games played, 22 goals, 64 points, 17 power play points, 225 shots. And for those in face-off wins leagues, you know how good he is. 721 face-off wins and 182 hits. He is one of the best, if not the best, category covering player in the entire league. You can throw Brady Tkachuk in there, but Brady does not get as many face-off wins as Vincent Trocheck. This is a guy that was super well-rounded and can easily round out any team, especially if you go offense heavy in the early parts of your draft and you want someone that just gives you those peripheral numbers. Trocheck's your guy. He's averaged 19 minutes a game last season, and he should still maintain his line 2 power play 1 role. What we're seeing early in training camp is that he still is on that Rangers top power play unit, and we know how good they are as a unit. And back in 2021, as a unit, they were the highest scoring power play in the entire NHL. Nothing really should change this season. We know how good Panarin, Fox, Zib are there. He's falling to around 14 and 15 in drafts, but he always finishes as a top 75 player. I own him right now in 5 of my 7 leagues. A guy that I'm super high on and I think can significantly outperform his ADP up to 70 spots. He can easily finish as a top 75 player this season. The outlook for Trocheck is huge. You want to be drafting him. If you haven't drafted him, this is definitely a guy you want to be trading for in the early going before people get note about how good this guy actually is. And the last thing I want to say about him is he has only missed 1 game in the last 2 seasons. You want to be drafting guys that have that reliability, the guys that don't get injured very often, and Vincent Trocheck in the later part of his career has been that player. There is no better way to end off a video than talk about a guy that I am extremely high on this season, Rickard Rakell of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Similar to Trocheck, he had a very strong 2022 season, but is completely falling in drafts right now. 82 games played, 28 goals, 60 points, 22 power play points, 243 shots and 141 hits, played over 18 minutes per night. He is one of just 8 players with a 9.5 shots per 60 and a 5+ hits per 60 rate. And all the other players in that range, Evander Kane, Svechnikov, Brady Tkachuk, to name a few, are going 100 ADP spots above him right now. At ADP 133, you're going to get a guy with an extremely high floor, and that is playing with a 80+ point player in Sidney Crosby and Jake Guentzel. Last season, the 3 of them played over 600 minutes together. That's what you want to be seeing from a guy on a team that has such a good top 6 right now. But now they added a 100-point defenseman, Erik Karlsson. This should only make them better. Now, I don't know right now if Rakell will continue on the power play 1. Right now, they have Letang and Karlsson, but that's not with Guentzel there. So it's either one of Letang or Rakell that get knocked off power play 1 right now when Guentzel comes back. Something we have to monitor, but regardless, he still has an extremely high floor, shooting over 230 shots last season and over 140 hits, making him a super safe play. And at ADP 133, you're getting a discount on the guy that will significantly outperform his ADP right now. As a line last season with the Crosby, Guentzel, and Rakell line, a 56% Corsi for percentage, a 58% goals for percentage, and a 60% high danger chances for percentage. Just all around really dominant numbers from a line that just gave their opponents really no chance to succeed. In standard Yahoo leagues, I currently have Rakell ranked 92. At his ADP 133, he continues to be slept on by fantasy owners, and he should outperform his ADP by at least 30 to 40 spots this season, given the outlook and the opportunity for Rakell this season. That will do it for the Must Draft Sleepers version 2 video. Thank you so much for all the support in the channel over the preseason. It's been a grind, but we love to do it. If you enjoyed the video, guys, or you just enjoy the content, make sure you leave a like, subscribe on your way out if you want to see more videos from the Fantasy Puck team. Thank you for watching the video today, guys. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.